Now we have to go more focused on agriculture. That's a very important thing. How agriculture and on which way has an impact on climate?
Yeah, so agriculture has a number of different impacts on the climate system. There are direct emissions of nitrous oxide, of carbon dioxide from agricultural practices. When we plant crops over large areas, so think of the Midwestern United States, which is full of corn. Corn gives off water vapor. It changes the albedo, the color of the earth system. So agriculture has a lot of different effects on the climate system. Remarkably, humans are inventive and have done a wonderful job of producing more and more food around the world without taking up more and more land. So agriculture has intensified, and the current projections are that future climate change, depending on its magnitude and how it plays out, will have effects on agriculture. But at the same time, our ingenuity, our technological advancement, such as with genetically modified crops and so on, agricultural biotechnology, will stay out ahead of climate change, and there will be enough food going forward. And the positive side is that perhaps we continue to produce as much food as the world needs using less and less land. The last thing I'll say about that is population growth is slowing down and is expected to peak sometime in the middle of the current century. And if that actually occurs, then the demand for food worldwide will eventually reverse and go the other direction.
What about meat? What about cows? Are they have any impact?
Cows have a direct impact. They emit methane through their burps, which affects the climate system. Beef in particular is a very carbon intensive form of food. There are a lot of people studying how do we mitigate by what we feed cows, or how do we capture their methane. There have been people who suggest, well, let's change our diets and so on. Meat is a very culturally important issue in different places around the world, whether it's beef or pork or lamb. And so my view is it's a lot harder to change people's culture and practices than it is to come up with technological solutions to try to reduce the emissions or consequences of emissions. So I think we should expect, as large parts of the world become more wealthy, as they have the ability to eat food like rich people do around the world, that we will continue to see an expansion of the consumption of meat. And so that's something we're going to have to deal with.
What kind of technological solutions we have now for these problems?
Yeah, so with cows in particular, I have seen studies where they change the grain and the feed that cows have, so they emit less methane. There are also places where you put your cattle herd inside of a structure and you capture the methane. Methane, it's important to understand, is natural gas, and methane is a fuel. And so if that can be captured, it can be repurposed, and then we have a less carbon intensive fuel source, less methane intensive fuel source. So there's a lot of effort going on in a lot of different sectors to figure out, well, how does mitigation work in a way that's cost effective? If you capture methane from cows and use it as a fuel, maybe you have a net economic benefit. So I expect those sort of things to continue.
Mm-hmm.